الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال: قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن الله كره لكم ثلاث، قيل وقال: وإضاعة المال وكثرة السؤال، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Dear respected elders and brothers, in today's day and age, the time of technology and social media and all the different mediums of communication that we have, in every era, every time, Islam has placed a guideline for it. In this hadith, which I have just mentioned, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is highlighting certain golden principles that every community should adopt, whether we are living in the third world or in the first world countries. Sometimes we have this attitude that anything that is developed by a first world country is always the best. Anything that is developed by a third world country, no matter how good it is looked with an eye of negativity. So whatever organization they develop, whatever principles they have made, whatever lifestyle they have built, it could be 100 times better. But still, whether it is our media or whether it is ourselves, our communities, we look at it with an eye of negativity. One trivial example I'll give, and obviously in no comparison to what I'm going to say. We have these houses that are connected to each other. So they are built on the street. What are they called? They have a specific name. Terraced houses, not terrorist house. There was one child, poor child, in a nursery school. The teacher asked, "Which house do you live in? Where is your house?" So he wrote, "I live in a terraced house." But his spelling became, "I live in a terrorist house." So unfortunately, the whole house got raided, and the parents had to go through so much. Then afterwards they asked the child again, "What did you write?" He said, "A terrace house." Nevertheless. And then we have some countries, like how we have houses in San Biloj, huge gardens, everyone have their separate space, driveways, etc. So I met a brother, he said, "Moulana, look, in this country everything is so good, all the houses are connected. In this country everything is so good, all the houses are connected to each other." So I asked him, "What's so good about that? You have no garden, you have no front yard, you have no driveway." He said, "No, but back home in our countries, all the houses are separate, and if you want to see your neighbor, you have to go through his garden and everything." I said, "Yes, but if you look at it from the perspective of luxury, you are actually living more luxurious life back home." So unfortunately, we have this, that anything that is developed in a third world country, no matter what lifestyle they have, they might be living a golden lifestyle, but we look at it with an eye of negativity. And this is not our fault. It is the society that we live around. It is the media that is bombarding us day in and day out. So in the same light, we have this thought that, well, 1400 years ago, things were said, now things have changed. Na'udhu billah. Where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, خَيْرُ الْقُرُونِ قَرْنِي ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ. That the best of eras is my era, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying. Where the walls were made of mud walls. The roof were of palm trees, leaves of palm trees. And the conveyance were horses, donkey carts and horse carts. But yet, despite that, Rasulullah said, "Khairul Quruni Qarni," the best of eras is my era. What was Rasulullah indicating to? He wasn't indicating to the materialistic things of this world. This world will advance and it will fall, it will advance, it will fall, it will advance, it will fall, till Qiyamah this will carry on. In the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, there was huge technology available. These engines that came a century ago, 2 centuries ago. Sulaiman alayhi salam had it in his time already. Everything that we see around us, some of the Mufassirin say that Sulaiman alayhi salam had it in his time. That is why Sulaiman alayhi salam made dua to Allah, that Allah give me such a kingdom that after me no one else will get such a kingdom. In terms of materialistic things of this world. To show to the world that despite having everything, you are still in need of Allah. You are still in need of divine guidance. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khairul Quruni Qarni," my era is the best, the golden era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because the principles that he had laid the foundation for the society to come upon. Hearts were clean and pure. Nations that were fighting and in wars for hundreds of years, they became brothers. People who were prepared to give their lives and to kill their lives and the families' lives of others just because the camel came and drank from their pond. Those same people were prepared to give away everything of their wealth for the sake of Allah. That is why when the Muhajirin went from Mecca to Medina, the Ansar gave away everything. If they had 2 houses, they gave away 1 house to the Muhajirin. We have brothers, refugees coming from other countries. How much do we help them? This is our yardstick. That we can compare ourselves with the Ansar and see where we are. Sometimes if we have 100, we won't even give a 10p. We'll be like, let's give 2. So the principles that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam laid down for the Sahaba radiallahu anhum to follow, starting with Iman and Yaqeen, and then building up, every aspect of the lives were covered. Where from the time the child is born, even before the child is born, rules and etiquettes were laid down. So among this is this 3 that I have mentioned in this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna Allah, verily Allah, kariha lakum salat, dislikes you to engage in 3 things, or to do 3 things." If we bring this, the first aspect of these 3 principles, these 3 rules in our lives, 90% of our family problems, of our brotherhood problems, everything will be solved. What is the first one? An qila wa qala. That Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that Allah Ta'ala dislikes for us to engage ourselves in meaningless talk, useless talk. Now we see our form of communication around us. We just chat and we chat and we chat and we chat day in and day out. 12 at night, 1 at night, 2 at night. Everything is just going on. When we sit next to someone, the only thing we want to talk about is worldly affairs. Something that doesn't even concern us, we want to speak about. It's got nothing to do with you. Did you hear so and so done this? Did you hear so and so done this? Did you? And then we go into riba. And then we go into a worse stage that is called namima. Namima is carrying tales. So because we're so used to just talking and talking and talking and talking without taking a measure of our speech, without putting a camera on our speech, we just go on and we rip people's honor away. We strip people from their dignity. We downgrade families. People lose their jobs. Why? Because someone went to the boss and filled something in his ear. Imams lose their post. Why? Because Musalli went from one person to another person, told the trustee something. Children are thrown out of the house. Why? Because someone went and told the father something. Divorces are taking place. Divorce after divorce after divorce. Just 2 days ago, Moulana posted on our ulama group that so and so had something and something happened. Husband and wife is divorced. And then we say, well, I said it out of anger. Who will divorce it with a smiling face? Or they say breakup party. No one makes breakup parties. Why? Because we engage in meaningless talk. And Allah Ta'ala dislikes meaningless talk. The tongue that is given to you. Ghaliban Imam Rumi rahmatullah alayhi says, and Dawud alayhi salam used to say, oh Allah, you have given me this tongue. And I'm thankful to you. I say, Alhamdulillah. But I need another tongue to be thankful for this tongue. So this tongue that was given to us, that is why when we in the womb of our mothers, the blood of the mother doesn't go through our mouth, into our bellies. It goes through the navel. From this, ulama has written that there is a hikmah behind this. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says when the child is born, and the first words when the child starts speaking should be Allah. Should be the name of Allah. And when you see when a child is almost starting to take names and do words, if you in the constant habit of telling the child Allah, 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 the first word the child will ever take out from his mouth is Allah. I've experienced it. And for 2-3 days they'll only say Allah. Then they'll pick up on other words. So the reason the blood doesn't go through the mouth is that Allah is keeping the tongue clean and pure, that when this child will be born, he will take my name. Then we use that same tongue to dishonor someone, to backbite about someone, to carry tales of someone. Namima is such a dreadful deed, it will split communities apart. It will bring about murder in communities. There's one incident back in many centuries back when slavery was at its rise. So one slave was being sold in the marketplace. No one was buying the slave. So the owner dropped the price and he dropped the price and he dropped the price. He became the cheapest slave in the market to be sold. Healthy person, hardworking, everything.